Listen, man, anybody can be successful, but you got to understand something. It's hard. It's hard, man. You can take all the courses you want. It's hard. You can go down there to the church and hold your hands in a prayer circle. When you get through praying, it's going to be hard. You go to school, you can get all the degrees you want. When you get them degrees and you hang them on the wall, if you want to be successful, it's going to be hard. It's hard being successful. That's the first thing you need to understand. Come to these seminars and have these people come out here, talk to you about success and everything, come out here and they do a nice job of it, but then you go back and think you got it. It's hard. I don't even know the speaker's names, but all these people that's up here, it was hard. That lady had the red dress on to get to where she at. It's hard. It's hard. Understand that. It's hard, man. See, and I talk real. I ain't got no paper. I ain't got no presentation. You know, I got some pictures if you want to see them, but I ain't really got them tied to nothing. It's a vacation. You want to know what my life is, just follow my wife on Instagram, because that doggone Marjorie be balling. That girl right there, that's my chick, though. That's my chick. She's my wife and my chick on the side. You feel me? I was telling you that I lived in a car for 3 years. In my 30s, I was homeless. I was homeless based off of a decision I made. October 8th, 1985, I walked in a comedy club for the very first time. Never been in a comedy club, but I had been writing jokes all my life. 2 years, I was writing jokes for a dude taking my jokes, going to a comedy club. He was paying me $10 for it. I had never been to a comedy club, had never heard of a comedy club. I was writing for a buddy of mine named A.J. Jamal. He would pay me $10 a joke. One day, I was writing some jokes for him, and I was over his house to drop him off, and this girl named Gladys Jacobs came over to the house, and she said, "You the dude that's writing the jokes for A.J. Jamal?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "He the funniest dude at the comedy club." I said, "At the what?" She said, "He's the funniest dude at the comedy club." I'm 27. I've never heard of a comedy. Now, all my life, I wanted to be on TV. I'm going to tell you that story a little bit. But I just said, man, at the comedy club, she said, "You should come." She said, "Why don't you tell the jokes yourself?" Really? Tell the jokes myself? She said, "Yeah." Now I'm thinking, I said, man, this could be what I've been asking God my whole life. See, some of you in this spot where you keep asking God, what do I do next? What's my next move? You know the hardest thing about your life? Trying to figure it out. Ain't that hard? But do you know that you ain't supposed to do that? Do you know that God already designed you for a purpose in life? And if you would just simply ask God what it was, He could guide you to it. And the search for what I'm supposed to do will be over. But oh no, we so busy figuring it out. I got news for you. How to do something, the how-to is none of your business. That's what I never knew. So I was just wanting, man, to just...
So when I was in the San Francisco airport getting ready to get on the plane this morning, the lady behind the counter, when I got me an iced tea to drink, I asked her how her day was going, and she started talking about her 3 children and how she was going to leave work as soon as she could to help them get into school. And I listened to her for a moment, smiled, and told her I thought she was a good mama. Paid $1.50 for my iced tea and gave her a $20 tip. Listen to me, I want to tell you something. When leaders stop valuing people, they should stop leading people. This is not, hey, this business is a people business. It's a people business. And the caring and the loving and the valuing people is the core of longevity and success in leadership. I wish I had time to go on, but I've got to give you the other 3. Okay, the rule of 5 for lifting your lid. Every day I lead myself, right? Every day, what do I do? Secondly, add value to people. Number 3, every day I study leadership. Every day. And you say, now, John, when you say every day you study leadership, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is every day. How we doing, gang? Every day I study leadership. You see, again, back in the 70s, I heard Earl Nightingale say these words: if you will take 1 hour a day, every day, for 5 years on a certain subject, and every day for 1 hour, we'll study that subject for 5 years, in 5 years, you'll become an expert on that subject. And that was in the middle 1970s, and I said, I think I'm going to do that. I think until 1980, I'm going to spend an hour every day just studying leadership. I'm going to read leadership books. and I'm going to get around leaders. I'm going to study leadership. And by 1980, I'll be a great leader. And I did that every day until 1980. And by 1980, I thought, oh my goodness, this works so good. I think I'll do it until 1985. And so every day I did an hour of studying leadership until 1985. And I thought, oh my gosh, I know so much more in 1985 than I knew in 1980. I think I'll wait and go on till 1990. And so then I went for every day till 1990. I thought, man, I'm writing leadership books and they're buying those suckers and life is good. I think I'll do this every day. 1980. What have I done? Can I tell you what I do every day?
The Lord told me to tell you He controls the speed of the spin. That no matter how fast it may seem to you, God knows just how fast to spin the wheel without allowing you to fall off. And He told me to tell you to take notice of the fact that you're still here. That no matter how fast your life was spinning, God sustained you because He controls the speed of the spin. Somebody say He controls the speed of the spin. Don't be worried. Don't be anxious. Don't be worried because God controls the speed of the spin. He knows how fast to take you, to shape you into what He wants you to be. He controls the speed of the spin. People coming in your life, people going out of your life, and people clapping for you, and people trying to crucify you, sometimes all in the same day. You get a good call and a bad call. You get something that lifts you up, you get something that takes you down, and God said, don't worry about it. It's not them in control. God said, I control the speed of the spin. I don't know who that's for, but the Lord told me to be sure and tell you that while His hand is moving on the top, His feet is moving at the bottom. For the feet of the potter control the spinning of the wheel. And God said, I'm controlling the speed of the spin. It's not your mama. It's not your enemies. It's not your haters. It's not your naysayers. It's not your ex-husband. It's not your ex-wife. God controls the speed of the spin. And while the clay is spinning, the potter says nothing at all. Lord, how long will my life be in an uproar? I had to move over here, and then I had to move over there. And by the time we got settled in here, we had to move again. And this job shut down. I had to go to that job. And all the while it was spinning, the potter says nothing at all. Because He has placed you on the wheel and He's shaping you in the spin. The only thing He does is every now and then, while He's spinning, while it's spinning, He touches you. Throw your hands up and say, touch me, Jesus. If you're not going to stop the spin, just touch me every now and then. If you're not going to stop the spin, just touch me every now and then. If you're not going to stop the spin, if you just let me know that you're still there. Though the storms keep on blowing, though the winds keep on raging, though all hell keeps breaking loose, if you just touch me every now and then. The spinning is spinning. The wheel is turning. Everything's getting faster and faster. And I cannot get a word from the prophet, so I will settle for a touch. Do you know how many times I would have fell out of the wheel if He hadn't have touched me? Do you know how many times I would have slid off the wheel if He hadn't have touched me and established my going in and coming out? He didn't explain anything to me, Pastor. He just touched me. He didn't let me know how long I was going to have to spend. He just just touch me. That's why I'm coming to get the word, because I need a touch from the Lord. I'm wondering if there's anybody in here that needs a touch. A touch from the Lord. I need a touch from the Lord. If you don't talk to me, touch me. If you don't stop it, touch me. If I gotta go through it again and again, just touch me. Hey, in the middle of the spin, every now and then, he touches me. Every time the enemy thought he had me, God touched me. Every time I had gotten too close to the edge of the wheel and I was about to fall off, preacher, I was about to have a nervous breakdown, but God touched me. I cried all night, but he touched me. I was confused all week, but he touched me. Oh, he touched me. He wouldn't talk to me, Jackie, but he touched me. Just a touch. I lost my mother, but he didn't explain it, but he touched me. Lost my father, cried myself to sleep, thought I was going crazy, but he touched me. Oh, shut up. A touch from God is all you need. Lost my job. Still can remember walking across the parking lot crying, wondering how I was going to feed my family, but he touched me. And I want you to see the wheel, because it is on the wheel where the touching occurs. It is on the wheel where the shaping occurs. It is on the where the metamorphosis occurs, and all of a sudden a lump of clay begins to look like something. If it doesn't spin, it doesn't take shape. Stop avoiding the spin, because you'll never be what he had in mind until you're willing to jump into the spin cycle.
When you hear the word fear, what comes into your mind? Maybe you see yourself walking down the street calmly until someone covers your mouth and you pass out. Then you are tortured and killed. Or you might be afraid of losing your job, or wife, or a special friend. On the other hand, some people are afraid of trying new things. You might be a man who is not starting his business due to the fear of failing. Everyone is afraid of something. And while it isn't a bad thing, being afraid of something can retain you from living. You end up getting depressed and anxious all the time. It keeps you separate from your loved ones, and it can limit your will to try and freeze you in your tracks. You might be thinking why I said fear is not a bad thing. Well, let me tell you that fear is an early signal of something dangerous. However, you need to figure out the difference between healthy fear and an unhealthy one. One example of healthy fear is when your mind tells you to step away from an edge of a dangerous cliff. And unhealthy fear is the one that keeps you from living your life. You start thinking that fears are a part of who you are. However, you need to understand that your fears don't represent your true self. In the end, let me tell you that you cannot keep running away from your fears. You will ultimately have to face them. You will have to overcome your fears. There is no other option. So don't let yourself drown in your fears and start overcoming them today. You will never overcome your fears if you are not ready to face them. You need to stop fears from taking control of your life.